Welcome to the Morning Mindset Podcast with me, Craig Skelton. Each day we kick off your morning with positivity, actionable insights and the motivation you need to conquer the day ahead. Whether you're looking to develop a positive mindset, a habit of persistence, or simply start your day on the right foot, this podcast is your daily dose of inspirational and practical advice. And today we're getting to a topic that is crucial for everyone that's self-employed. Doesn't matter whether you are starting out on your self-employed journey or you've been self-employed for a while. And today we're talking about why it's important to focus on the small steps, focus on the small wins and not the big ones when you're self-employed. Now, I know that sounds a bit strange. We're all taught to think big, dream big, aim high and all the rest of it. And don't get me wrong, those things are important, absolutely. But today I want to sort of shift the perspective a little bit. I want to sort of talk about and show you why those small things that seem insignificant, the small steps, actually are the key to long-term success. Let's start the podcast by talking about the myth of the big leap. The idea that success comes from one giant game-changing move. We've all you see those headlines on social media, how became an overnight success or the big break that changed everything. Those stories might seem like success is all about that one pivotal moment where everything clicks and suddenly you've made it. But the thing with that is that those stories are often misleading. They don't tell you what's gone on behind every overnight success and the years of hard work and countless small steps and a lot of trial and error. So the truth is, success, especially when you're self-employed, is rarely about one massive big leap. It's about consistently taking those small, manageable steps that move you forward day in, day out. So why do small steps matter? For starters, they're realistic. When you set out to achieve something big, starting your own business or launching something new, it can be quite overwhelming. You might have a vision of where you want to be, but getting there feels more like you're standing at the bottom of a big mountain, start staring up at the top of the peak. It can be daunting and it can be paralyzing as well. But when you break down that big goal into smaller steps, suddenly it becomes manageable. Instead of focusing on the top and the mountain's peak, you focus on the next step, the first step. Each step is doable and each one brings you a little closer to your goal. These small steps also build momentum. Every time you accomplish one, no matter how small they are, you're reinforcing a sense of progress. You're telling yourself, I did that, what's next? This momentum is incredibly powerful because it keeps you moving forward even when the going gets tough, and it will get tough when you're self-employed. Another reason small steps are so crucial is that they build confidence and mastery. When you're self-employed, you're often learning as you go. You might not have all the skills or knowledge you need when you first start out. You won't have them, but that's okay. What matters is that you're willing to learn, adapt and improve over time. By focusing on the small steps, you give yourself space to learn and to grow. Each small step is an opportunity to practice, to get a bit better each time and to gain confidence in your own abilities. Over time, these small steps add up to mastery. You become more skilled, more knowledgeable and more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way when you're self-employed. Another thing to be aware of is avoiding burnout. It's something that doesn't get enough attention in the self-employed world. When you're your own boss, the pressure can be intense. Responsible for everything. It can feel like you need to do it all and do it all perfectly. This pressure can lead to burnout if you're not careful. Focusing on small steps is a great way to avoid burnout, because when you break your goals down to smaller, more manageable tasks, you're less likely to feel overwhelmed. You're also more likely to take regular breaks and maintain a healthier work-life balance because you're not constantly chasing after that big elusive goal. Instead, you're making steady progress, which is far more sustainable in the long run. The next thing is the power of consistency. Consistency is the secret to success. It's not about working 24/7, or it's about showing up every day and putting in the work, putting in the graft, even if it's just a little bit at a time. When you focus on the small steps, you're committing to consistent action. You're telling yourself, I might not be able to do everything today, but I can do this one thing. And over time, this consistent effort compounds. Every small step is a deposit into your future success. And just like any investment, the returns start to grow. What might seem a very small, insignificant action today can lead to big results down the road. Small wins lead to big wins. I want to take a moment to talk about the importance of celebrating small wins. I do talk about this a lot on the podcast, because when you're self-employed, it's easy to get caught up in the grind and forget to acknowledge your progress. Those small wins are incredibly important. They're proof that you're moving in the right direction. And every time you complete a small step, take a moment to acknowledge it and give yourself credit for the work that you've done. It isn't just about feeling good, although that's important too. It's about reinforcing the behavior that leads to success. When you celebrate small wins, you're training your brain to focus on progress rather than perfection. And that's a massive game changer. And the next thing is about embracing the journey, because one of the biggest benefits of focusing on the small steps, it helps you embrace the journey. When you're solely focused on those big goals, it's easy to miss out on the present moment. You're always looking ahead, waiting for that big success to happen. And in the meantime, you're not fully engaged with where you are right now. But when you focus on those small steps, you're paying attention to what you're doing right now. And that makes the journey far more enjoyable. You start to see progress in real time, and you realize that success isn't just about the destination. It's about the growth. It's about learning, and it's about the experiences, the amazing experiences that you gain along the way. How do you start focusing on small steps? Here's a few things that can help you. The first thing is break down your goals. Take your big goal, break it down into smaller, actionable steps. What can you do today? What can you do this week? What can you do this month to move you closer to the goal? The next thing is prioritize. Not all steps are created equal. Focus on the ones that have the most impact. The third thing is set micro deadlines. What I mean by that is give yourself small deadlines for each step. This creates a sense of urgency and keeps you on track. And as I've said, celebrate small wins. Take time to celebrate each small win. This will keep you motivated and reinforce the positive behavior. And remember, be patient. Success doesn't happen overnight. No matter what you're on social media or what you read, success does not happen overnight. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. Every small step counts. And just to wrap up, I wanted to leave you with this thought, because focusing on small steps doesn't mean you're thinking small. Far from it. It means you're being smart about how to approach your goals. It's about working in a way that's sustainable, manageable, and ultimately more effective. So next time you find yourself overwhelmed by the big picture, take a step back and focus on what you can do right now, one small step at a time, and you will get there. Thank you for joining me on today's The Morning Mindset. If you found this episode helpful, please share it, like it, subscribe it, review it, do all the things that you can to get this message out to as many people that can benefit from this motivation as possible. Have an amazing day. Stay motivated, stay focused, stay positive, and run your own race.